It's a trip down memory lane no one wants to take. Many Argentinians are giving up on banknotes and returning to barter trades that exchange goods and services without using hard currency. The Argentine peso has fallen by 33% against the US dollar so far this year, driving up the prices of fuel, food, and other products. This instability is driving many to barter fairs, like this one in front of the presidential palace in Buenos Aires.
There's no money, and we have to barter, buy with these tickets and exchange what we have with each other.
While the cost of living has risen in most countries this year, Argentinians are among those worst hit. Experts predict that inflation will likely be higher than 90% by the end of this year. The government has mandated that all salaries be increased by 25% every 6 months. But the value of Argentinian peso is falling every day. That means the poverty rate is likely to worsen from the current 40%. The country has suffered many bouts of inflation over the past 50 years. It rose as high as 3,000% in the late 1980s. More recently, government spending ballooned during the COVID-19 pandemic, and rising input costs in the wake of Russia's attack on Ukraine have worsened the crisis. President Alberto Fernandez says his government is working on a plan to rein in rising prices.
I am aware of the problem and fighting every day to find a way out.
But many are skeptical of the effectiveness of the government's response.
We are exchanging merchandise for clothes, trainers for something newer or bigger. We are doing it so that the government can see the situation we are in, that the salary we have is not enough for anything.
While Argentinians have found a temporary solution to obtain necessities like food and clothing, many fear unless the economy improves soon, they could be forced to trade away more of their belongings. Tulay Kalyon Haznedaroglu, TRT World.
Earlier, we spoke to Remi Piet in Miami, his senior partner at Embellie Advisory. He says Argentina boosting output from mines and other natural resources could be the quickest fix for the country's currency crisis.
New value generating sectors, whether it's the mining sector or the renewable energy sector, there's strong potential in terms of energy and mining projects in Argentina that needs to be able to be encouraged, because those are the exports from the mining sector, especially those are the ones that will generate income in foreign currency, in US dollars. This might be actually the way out for Argentina in a more systemic, stable way, which is to develop a strong sector of its economy based on raw material or copper, lithium, others that are essential in terms of the energy transition. So as long as Argentina will not be able to develop some key sectors, stable sectors that will kind of reassure the international markets, and whether it's the agro-industrial sector, which is already present in Argentina, not as strong as in Brazil, but more importantly, as I was mentioning, the mining sector and the series of renewable energy or even natural gas generation. This will actually place Argentina as a more stable economy, and we need to have clear regulations and clear support to developing sustainably those sectors. Obviously, the IMF is strongly needed in Argentina, and there's no more this kind of debate inside Argentina whether or not the country should deal with the IMF. There's been some in the past some very tense relationship, especially in cause of the IMF miscalculating the problems of the Argentinian economy. But this is far behind now. The IMF and the Alberto Fernandez administration are working closely. There's been a series of very positive comments after the latest discussion between the head of the IMF and Felipe Massa and Alberto Fernandez. But the question is, how do you stabilize the economy in Argentina? And that goes with increasing the interest rate, which are already very high. Part of the deal between the IMF and Argentina is that the interest rate should be above the level of inflation in the country. And we're talking about an inflation that would actually reach, probably close to 100% by the end of this year.